Well, when it comes to buying or selling a home, it helps to have an expert on your side to guide you through the process. I know this very well, having just finished it up. And joining me now is Mandy Morrow. She's a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker Vanguard Realty and the Morrow Group. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
All right, this is something that I'm very familiar with, having just gone through the process. In real estate now, everybody has their apps and their phones, and they can see all kinds, you know, Zillow and Realtor.com. Some are thinking, you know, when you're selling a home, you always think I got to get a realtor. But when you're buying, they're not using what I think is a no-brainer advantage for you as a buyer to have an agent.
Right.
Why should people have an agent when buying?
Well, let me just say generally that out there, there's lots of data on homes, whether it's listing data with all these different companies, but it's not knowledge about the actual listings. So knowing if it's under foreclosure, knowing if it's behind a development, knowing if there's been easement problems, permitting problems, none of that is translated in the actual data that Zillow and Trulia and all the other companies have out there. So it really is smart for a buyer to hire a buyer's agent. And the reason you want to do that, you want to interview them. You don't want to just have your best friend or your uncle or somebody like that that kind of does it on the side. You want to interview them because essentially, think about it this way, Curtis. If you have a $350,000 home and there's a 3% commission on the buy side, you're basically stroking them a check for $10,500.
Right. Yeah.
And so if you really are not getting the value from that buyer's agent, meaning the experience and knowing what to do when there are problems, knowing what to do on inspections, knowing how to negotiate and strategize, you are missing the boat, basically.
Yeah, because that's the one thing I found with my realtor was most of the work. I mean, yeah, all of us can look on an app and see, oh, there's a home for sale, or you can drive by. But most of the work was once we had done that and seen the homes, the work was all of the stuff after you've now decided.
Yeah, you take the 80-20 rule. 20% of the time is you guys call me up, you say, oh, I like this home, this home. I'd kind of double check to make sure if you're looking in this area, have you thought about this? So I kind of make sure that we're looking at all the right homes that meet your criteria. But that's about 20% of the thing. 80% is in the negotiation, is in the closing, in the inspections, in the due diligence. And the real thing here is, and why you want an experienced agent, is at the end of the day, things will go wrong. And if you have an experienced agent who's been through many different types of closings, they are calm, cool, collected, and they come back and say, okay, not a problem, we can fix this, here's a couple strategies, and we always seek to do the win-win. That is what a professional will get you versus just, you know, Sally Sue or Joey Joe that's going to do it on part-time. You want somebody who's experienced and who knows the market, knows the business. And you have 13 years experience and sold over $100 million. So what, from you, what are some of the pitfalls, what are some of the biggest mistakes you see buyers and sellers making? Is not to do their homework, is not to, so let's take buyers first. Like I just said, you should interview buyer's agents. I have people, when they first call me up and say, hey, I want to buy a blah, blah home, come on into my office, let's talk. And we go through a lot of questions and we understand what are your criteria, what's your time frame, what's your financial assets. We go through it all so that I can have a full picture of what you need. Sometimes I'll recommend good mortgage people if that's the route that you want to go. I have a whole list of professionals I can bring to bear. And we come up with a whole strategy and then we execute. For sellers, it's, you know, people think it's just doing a couple of photographs and putting them out on the web. But I recently just sold a home in about 10 days, and the way I did it was I understood what the key attributes of the home, I understood what the seller's objectives were, and then I actually sold the home. So even though other agents came, I was sitting there talking about the attributes of the home, giving all the information directly to the buyers when they came with their other agents, and we were able to get the home sold for a very good price, cash offer, closed.
Yeah, no, I think that's important. Like you said, it's got to be priced right, and it's got to look right. I mean, obviously, curb appeal and showing the home. Anybody can take pictures, but it's really about all the other information you just talked about. So, I mean, you've done it so far, but for anybody out there, why should they come see Mandy Morrow?
It's really my two things. It's my attention to detail, and it's the experience that I've had. I have a consultative approach, so I don't. If somebody comes in and says, you know, this is what I want to do, after a couple questionings, it might not be the right solution to sell your home. It might not be the right time for you to buy. It might be a time for you to rent. So I come with a total solution approach.
There you go. All right, appreciate you joining us.
All right, thanks a lot.
For being here.
All righty.
And a special thanks to Mandy Morrow with the Morrow Group at Coldwell Banker Vanguard Realty for sponsoring this segment. For more information, visit coldwellbankerpvb.com or call Mandy directly at 904-229-7825.